Hey there, YouTube. So, it's been a long time. Um, I'm going to try to piece together a little video here for you. More for myself than for you, I guess. Because I miss making videos. Um, the kind of life I have right now, there's not really much to make a video on. But, I do want to make one, so I'm going to try my best to put one together here, if I can even remember how. So there might be some cuts and things like that, but I'll try to make it flow as best I can. So let's start off with what's currently going on. So I still work at the same place that I was working at, the feed mill, driving a truck for them. My role has changed a couple of times throughout the time that I've worked there. When I first started off there, I was doing a bag route, which is, bagged feed. I would deliver it to various stores around the state and then come back, every day, home every night, just like a regular job. The only difference was that I was doing that and I was running commodities, which is, hooked to a hopper trailer and go up to the north part of the state and grab a load of corn or something and bring it back. And so I was doing all those things, plus running a straight truck once in a while, which I think I've done a video in a straight truck. I've even ran a lead well a couple of times. So during that time, the first 6 months that I worked there, I probably worked between 65 and 80 hours a week. Now the problem with that is I'm on what's called loop pay, which is basically considered salary. So there's no time and a half for overtime and things like that. Although I do make $17 an hour, so it's not too bad. But it was a lot of hours. And honestly, I worked less hours when I drove over the road. So I got to a point about 2 or 3 months ago where I was like, I just can't work this many hours. I don't have that many bills. I don't require that amount of money to survive. I just don't want to work my entire life away. 6 days a week, 12 to 14 hours a day, sometimes 16 hours a day. I've put in a 19-hour day there before, which is completely illegal. But anyways, so I put in my 2 weeks notice 2 or 3 months ago. And the mill manager approached me and asked if maybe I would consider staying under some circumstances. And I said, yeah. I'd love to stay because I do like it there. I like the people that work there, and I like the job, the bag route. And I told him, let me do the bag route. When I'm done with the bag route, I go home. If there's not a bag route that day, I don't even come into work. And he said, well, if that's all it is, consider it done. So I made that deal with him, and for the past 2 or 3 months, I've been working, I can get all the bag routes done. There's a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday bag route. So it's 4 days a week. I get a 3-day weekend every week. For example, this is Monday. And I'm usually home by 2:30 in the afternoon. So I work maybe 35, maybe 40 hours a week. And I bring home plenty of money to pay my bills and all that. So I see myself staying there for quite a long time. I've got no reason to leave. Where else can I go in southern Missouri and make $17 an hour and get a 3-day weekend every week? There's no benefits or anything, but hey, you can't have everything. And this is probably one of the best jobs I've ever had, so I plan on being there quite a long time. So that's kind of what I've been up to presently. Heather, I'll fill you in a little bit on what she's doing. She has went with her mom to the bank and had her mom co-sign for her a loan, a fairly large loan. And so she bought a double wide trailer off of some Mennonites. It's in pretty good condition from what I understand. And she had it moved out to the property. And so she and the children are actually going to live out there. Now that's a double-edged sword to me. You know, I can't help but feel a little bit ripped off in the situation. You know, I put probably $10,000 into that foundation and digging and all that work out there that I did. But at the same time, I'm glad the children get to live out there. I'm glad they're going to grow up out there. That's what I always wanted. I wanted them to grow up out there. You know, there's 1,000 acres that they can just run and play, and, you know, unless they run into a bear, not really get into any trouble. You know, it keeps them out of the city and keeps them out in the fresh air. So that's kind of what they're doing. Now, I get Augie is the little one, and Lennon is the older boy. I get both of the boys every other weekend. We don't have a legal divorce yet, but I have been giving her child support every month for the entire time I've been gone. So I didn't just leave them high and dry or anything. So Leela, she pretty much doesn't have anything to do with me. I don't know what the deal with that is. I don't know if she knows that I'm not her real dad, but I've been around, you know, since she was like 3.5 or 4. So I don't know that she can remember back before that or not, but I don't know what's happened, but she pretty much just doesn't have anything to do with me. So I see her and everything when I go and pick up the boys, and I hug her and stuff, but she doesn't ever want to come or anything like that. So, and she never has this entire time. So I don't know. I just figure, you know, if she ever wants to, I told her she's more than welcome, but she doesn't have to, and I'm not going to pressure her to. So that's kind of what's going on with the family dynamic. Now, as for my future plans, okay, I still want to buy a piece of property. I'm obviously not going to be able to buy something that's a couple 100 acres. You know, 100 acres here is like, if it's got a house on it, even an old crappy house, you know, 100 acres would be, $150,000 or $200,000, and you know, there's just no way. I was going to go up and get a brand new truck from the Chevy dealership here. I really like those Z71 Colorados, but the $40,000 price tag just scared the piss out of me. So you could imagine what a $200,000 debt. I mean, I'd probably have a stroke before I got halfway through the payments. And honestly, I don't want to pay on something for 20 or 30 years. So my plan is to find something between 2 and 5 acres, you know, even 1 acre. I grew up on 1 acre of land as a child, and you know, it was pretty big. It wasn't bad. It's definitely going to be outside the city limits, even if it's just outside. That way, you know, you can shoot guns and make noise and all that stuff, and nobody can say anything about it. I don't know if I'm going to end up building a small house or not, because I'm not sure about all the building permit situations in this county. I know the county where I was building in before, that they really didn't have anybody to enforce them, so people just built whatever they wanted to. I don't know if that's the case here or not. I haven't looked into it far enough. Right now, I'm just trying to find a piece of land, and land here is going for like $8,000 or $9,000 an acre. So I don't know. So it might take me 5 years just to pay off a piece of land, much less put something on it. But I mean, I live in an apartment right now, which is fine. My electric bill's $45 a month. It's efficient. It's 2 bedroom. It's kind of small, but it's plenty. And it's cheap. It's $400 a month. All my monthly bills put together, including the child support that I'm giving her, that I don't even have to, but I am. All my monthly bills are paid in 2 paychecks. So then, I've got 2 other paychecks that are basically free. And I do live here with my girlfriend. We've been dating for, quite a long time. So, and she does have a job. She's a CNA at a nursing home here in town. So she pays part of the bills even on top of that. So, there's quite a bit of free money to play with here and there. So hopefully it won't take too long to pay off a piece of property. But I have to find a piece of property first that's either A, the owner is willing to finance, or B, I've been working on my credit somewhat because I've never used credit before in my life. I've always tried to pay cash for everything, and that's really biting me in the butt now that I need credit. Because I can't just go to the bank and get a $10,000 loan to buy a piece of property and then pay the bank back. You don't have to have that good a credit just to borrow $10,000. That's not a lot of money to borrow from a bank. But when you have like no credit history at all, it's worse than having bad credit. I've been working at it. I got a low limit credit card. I've got a credit card with a $300 limit that I charge some to and pay off each month, and that's helping quite a bit. I bought this new furniture on credit. It's financed through the actual furniture store. It'll be paid off in just a couple of months, but that's helping a little bit too. So my credit score's up to almost 700. It's like 695 or something. So maybe by the time I actually find the piece of property, maybe I could borrow 10,000. I don't know. I do own my vehicle though, so maybe I could use that as collateral or something. I don't know. But first and foremost, I'd have to find a piece of property. And I'm only like 20 minutes from Springfield, Missouri. So the properties around here are a little more than what they were where I was before. But I'll just have to look. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about. If I did build a house, it would be a small one. It would be, maybe 2, maybe 3 bedrooms. But if a 3-bedroom, then it would be small. The bedrooms would be small. It would be probably, I don't know, 1,200 square feet maybe, or something small. Something that I could, afford to build quite rapidly. Because I do have 3 days off a week from my job. So, and I do have some extra money. So not only do I have a little bit of extra money for materials, but I also have some extra time to build with. So the situation I was in before when I was building out at the other property, I had all the time in the world but no money. So now I'm kind of set up to where it's a good mix of both. 3 days off a week, that's, you can put up every wall in a small house in a day. I've got a nail gun and an air compressor and all that. You can throw together 2x4s, as long as you sketch out how your layout is and where all your doors and windows and everything are going to be. you can put up all the walls in a 1,200 square foot house in one day. But, you know, hopefully that day will come sooner rather than later, but I don't know how long it's going to take. That's the truth about it. And now I'm kind of shifted into a position where a lot of you probably are, or have been, or are going to be. The situation I was in before was not a typical situation for a person to find themselves in. You know, Heather and I, neither one had to have real jobs. You know, we made it on our own just fine because we didn't have any bills. Her father owned our house, so we didn't have to pay any rent or anything like that. We were just given property by him, so we didn't have to pay for that. Now I have started from nothing, trying to make my own way so that nothing can be taken away from me again. So I'm in the same boat as many of you probably are. It takes a long time. It just takes time. And that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know what to do with videos. That's why I haven't made one in like 8 months, 9 months. There's really nothing to tell. I go to work and I come home. That's about it. I mean, that's not real exciting, you know. I don't have a piece of property to go to do anything, you know. There's no, you know, I live in a small apartment. There's nothing to show. I'm just a typical person, just like any of you. A lot of YouTubers, you know, kid behind a camera, or you know, McJuggernuggets, or I don't know, any of those guys, seem to have quite exciting home lives, you know. Kid behind a camera goes over to his dad's house, and his dad's an angry old guy that breaks stuff sometimes and all that. But they're going somewhere like every day. Every day they're going somewhere or doing something, and that's just not normal life. You know, I think I'm living pretty close to what most people live. You know, I see my mom maybe once every 3 months or so. We go up to Springfield to see my girlfriend's grandparents and aunt and uncle, you know, 2 or 3 times a month or whatever. But, you know, six days a week, we're here, inside the walls of this apartment, doing nothing. Either that or we're at work. So that's not real exciting, you know. We don't have an imbalanced, angry relative to come over and break our stuff every other weekend. You know, and if we did, I'd probably call the cops on them. So we don't have, you know, I don't have the kind of life now that is very exciting to watch. So you guys kind of let me know if there's anything you'd like to see or any ideas. I'm open to doing videos. I just, honestly, I don't know what to do them about. There's not really a lot going on. So, you know, maybe I'm overlooking some aspect that someone finds interesting or maybe wants to know more about that I don't think is very interesting, but they would. I don't know. Maybe I'm overlooking something, so just let me know. And anyway, I guess I'll end this here. I hope you guys have enjoyed hearing me ramble on. I know I enjoy making the video. I enjoy talking to you guys. I really miss making videos. I really do. But I'm not just going to put out video after video of just nonsense crap that nobody wants. You know, I'm not going to just sit here and talk for 20 minutes, you know, 5 times a week. Nobody's going to watch that. I mean, they might, but I mean, it doesn't interest me, so I'm sure it doesn't interest you. But I'll go ahead and end this now, and hopefully it won't be too long before I see you next time.